This is George Donner, a wealthy farmer and one of 5 children. He is 60 years old and married to Tamsin Donner. This is James Reed, a businessman who was convinced that he could do better out west. He is a father of 4 and married to Margaret Reed. This is William Hook, Jacob Donner's son. He is 12 years old. This is Jacob Donner, brother of George and father of 7. He is married to Elizabeth Donner.
Well, I'm a wealthy farmer, and I could be satisfied with what I have, but I'm not. As long as there's a better future out there, I'm willing to take it for me and my family. I'm going to go out there and get it. And I see a better future in the West. It could be really good for us. The land is cheaper and more fertile, and thousands of people have already crossed successfully. It's an opportunity that we have to take, and the resources will help us make the right decision.
Paul, why can't I ride in the wagon? All this walking's making me tired.
Well, you're a little bit chunky, son, and your added weight can make the oxens collapse. They're already carrying 2,500 pounds of supplies.
You don't want to ride in this anyway. There's no suspension on these wagons. You'll feel every bump in the road.
Fine.
I know what'll make you feel better. Let's go buffalo hunting. We're about to make camp for the night, and I don't want any more of that dried bacon.
Well, of course, Uncle George.
Absolutely not. It's mighty dangerous hunting buffalo, especially for a 12-year-old. Jacob, tell him he can't go.
You can't go, son.
An average buffalo weighed from 1,200 to 2,000 pounds. Hunters only took the tongue, hump, and hump rib of the buffalo and left the rest for the wild animals.
It's too big.
The shortcut goes to Wasatch Mountains, but I highly warn you against it. Don't do it. Don't do it because you can't take the wagons that way. Go the old route. Be safe. You'll perish.
Some of us are going to stick with the regular route, but I'm sure some of us will be willing to take the shortcut. There's a narrow route, and we might as well take it.
The Donners did not listen to Clyman's advice and arrived at the cutoff only to find a note from Lansford Hastings telling them to camp at the Weber River and wait for him to return before taking the path. The letter informed them to send a man and head to find him on the trail for information on a new route.
Hello. Are you Lansford Hastings?
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
I'm a representative from the Donner Party, and I came to ask you if you wanted to be our guide. We saw your note, and we wanted to come and find you.
I can't be your guide right now, but I can sure give you a map to the new route.
Thank you so much. This will help.
The new shortcut was hardly a path, and they had to dislodge boulders and chop through trees to get the wagon. It took them about 3 weeks to travel through the Wasatch Mountains before coming up to the Great Salt Desert. They were only able to travel 2 miles a day and were lucky to even make it through.
We need to find a way to catch up with the smaller wagons.
Yeah, our big wagons isn't turning out to be as helpful as we thought it'd be.
Seriously, these bigger objects are weighing us down. Throw some of these out. Oh, wow. We're almost out of water, too.
On the 3rd day, the party ran out of water, and that night the Reeds' oxen, crazed with thirst, ran away into the desert. The Reeds had to abandon their wagon and carry whatever they could.
Well, I guess it shows the risk of going west. We took a risk that could have benefited us, but instead we paid the price for it. Hopefully no one else is doomed as the same fate as us. Maybe that's one good thing that will come out of this. If we ever make it out of this, I'm going to tell everyone who will listen to steer clear of this cursed route.
On October 5th, as they were walking up a steep sandy hill, John Snyder began to hit the oxen with the butt of his bowl, and when Reed came over to stop him, it led to a fight that ended with Reed stabbing Snyder and killing him. The wagon trade decided to banish Reed from coming with them. James Reed made it to California. On October 19th, when they were just 15 miles from the summit of the Sierra Mountain Pass, Charles Stanton returned with 7 mules loaded with food and 2 Native American guides. Also, he brought news that the Sierra Pass wouldn't be blocked with snow until a month. After hearing the news, they camped for 5 days. On October 31st, George Donner cut his hand while trying to fix a broken axle. The broken axle made the Donners fall even farther behind. That night, the rest of the party camped just 1,000 feet below the summit, waiting for the Donners to catch up. However, the Donners did not catch up, and it began to snow. The next morning, they made one last frantic attempt to cross the pass, but 5 feet of snow had already fallen, and their wagons began to slip, so they just made camp for the night. When they woke the next morning, the pass was completely blocked with snow. The Donners made camp at Alder Creek, 6 miles away from the main group who had camped at Truckee Lake. Those who were at the lake were in makeshift cabins, which were drafty, but still better than the Donners who had to huddle in tents for winter. As supplies dwindled, the families began mixing the little meat they had left from the oxen with dirt, bark, bones, and twigs. In mid-December, 15 immigrants had enough and decided to try to cross the pass again. 5 women, 9 men, and a 12-year-old boy called themselves the Forlorn Hope and set out on December 16th wearing snowshoes made from ox bows and rawhide. William, Eddie, and the 2 native guides led the group, who brought 6 starvation rations each. They struggled through the deep snow, but the makeshift snowshoes gave them some support.
We're out of food. I don't think I can go on like this.
Neither can I.
It began to snow on Christmas Eve, 9 days into the journey, and by that point the group was lost high in the treacherous mountains. That night, the suggestion came out that if one were to die, the rest would eat their remains. They drew slips of paper, and Patrick Dolan drew the fatal longest slip. But no one was willing to kill him. As the night grew on, the storm worsened. The company all piled together and put blankets over themselves, but it wasn't enough. Antonio, a teamster, Franklin Glaves, Patrick Dolan, and the 12-year-old Lem Murphy all died that night. When the storm stopped, they lit a fire and roasted the remains of the dead, then ate them. The 2 natives were the only ones who didn't eat.
We're out of food again. I say we kill the Indian and eat him.
No way.
On January 17, 1847, 7 members of the Forlorn Hope Party made it through the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they finally reached safety. Their story spread, and on February 5th, the small relief party left to go help them. A second one, led by James Reed, was just 2 days behind. They arrived at Truckee Lake on February 17th to find 12 dead and 48 still living, but just barely. So far, nobody at camp has been forced to eat human flesh. The rescuers took 24 people out of camp on February 22nd. They ran into the second relief party on their way back, and James Reed was finally reunited with his family. When the second relief party reached the camp, it was in chaos. 10 more had died, and the survivors had started eating human flesh to survive. Then the worst storm of the winter hit on their way back. The rescuers and immigrants held together as the snow swirled around them. The third party found them there 10 days later. 2 of Jacob Donner's children were eaten during the storm. When the third party reached the camp, only 7 immigrants were still alive.
Oh, thank God you're still alive. Somebody give my husband some food. He's dying over here. No, Tamsin, it's all right. I refuse to let my husband die here alone. You go on without me. Georgie.
The fourth rescue party was delayed a month after the ninth and last blizzard of what was the worst winter ever recorded in the Sierra Nevada mountains. When they reached the lake, only Louis Keysburg was still alive, surrounded by half-eaten corpses. On April 25th, the last of the Donner Party finally made it out of the mountains. It had been just over a year since they were set out on the Oregon Trail. Of the 87 people who were part of the Donner Party, only 46 survived.
We just got back from this horde trip. I think people are going to remember this for a long time. Definitely won't be as many people on the Oregon Trail next year, I can tell you that.